Okay, today we're going to be following the blog post Top 50 Ggplot Visualizations, which will be linked below. And by the end of this video, you will be able to make this plot. A reminder, this is all information I found online. I am reusing their script, but I'm going to explain it for you to understand how to use it as well. Okay, today we're going to be making a bubble plot. And how is this different from a scatter plot? Well, a scatter plot allows you to compare the relationship between two continuous variables, whereas a bubble chart helps you understand the relationships within those underlying groups based on one, categorical variable, which will distinguish by changing the color, and by two, another continuous variable by changing the size of the points. So this is going to be a mixture of the prior two videos that were last week and 2 weeks ago, where you have a count size that increases the point size, and you have the jitter plot that allows it to look like you have the general distribution of multiple types of data. So if you need to load Ggplot2, go ahead and do that now, and we'll be using the MPG data set. We're going to make a subset of that data called MPG select, which we're pulling from MPG. So this condition that we're creating is going to be created and pushed into this new variable, hence the direction of the arrow. So we're selecting what we want to select. So we're going to look at different MPG $ manufacturer. So we're going to look at the different manufacturer in this pipes, and then this is the list. So we're going to look at the manufacturer of Audi, Ford, Honda, and Hyundai. And we're going to put that into MPG select. And now we're going to create our scatter plot. As you can see, Midwest MPG select here is 66 observations out of the 437. So we want our theme set to be BW, so it's going to have a slight grid to it. And then in Ggplot, we're going to take the aesthetic of the new subset, with the aesthetics being engine displacement and city mileage. Our labels are going to be displacement versus city mileage. Title is a bubble chart. You don't need the title necessarily, but for the purpose of this, we're going to put it there so you know what kind of chart you've made. We're going to use the jitter function, so that way we remove overlapping data points. We're going to color by manufacturer, so it's going to be a different color for Audi, Ford, Honda, and Hyundai. And we're going to increase the size based on highway mileage. We're going to use the smooth function to add those individual regression lines to each manufacturer, and we're going to color match based on manufacturer. It's going to show a linear model per Audi, Ford, Honda, and Hyundai. Standard error is false. And then scale color viridis, because this is a colorblind friendly color palette. D for discrete, so each individual value, i.e. color, manufacturer, each manufacturer is a discrete value, and therefore it'll have its own color. And as you can see here, you have your bubble chart with displacement versus city mileage. The dot size varies based on highway mileage, and the manufacturer has its various colors. So Audi being the dark color, and as you go more towards yellow, you have Hyundai. Now what if you want to change this up a little bit? We can add another, for instance. Let's do Chevrolet and Jeep. You just have to add functions here. And if you do that, notice here we have originally 66 observations. If we add this in, it jumps to 93. We keep the rest the same. You've added two more variables based on manufacturer, and the dot size still corresponds to highway mileage. You have city mileage and displacement of the engine, and the dot size indicates highway mileage. Now you can see the more and more you add to this style of a chart, the busier it gets and a little bit more difficult to understand. So if we remove the geom jitter function, what would that look like? You just have the lines. You don't necessarily have the distribution of your points. What if we remove the size function within the geom jitter function? You have a bunch of uniform dots amongst their linear regressions. Now, you can't necessarily distinguish another variable that you might want to have. This can be perfectly fine if you're only wanting to show city mileage versus displacement. But if you want to add that additional layer, you need to add the size function on the given variable that you want to incorporate. Okay, so this is a comprehensive look at how to make a bubble plot, and I hope it becomes a useful tool for your arsenal. And next week, we're going to do an animated bubble chart, which I'm excited to introduce, how you can have an animated chart that is able to put motion over time into your figure.